welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. My name is Dina, and today I am going to be doing a little bit of redecorating here in my kitchen. Now, not long ago, right after Christmas, I did go ahead, take down all that decor and just kind of revamp here in the kitchen, but I haven't been 100% satisfied with what I put out, so I just want to make a few changes. Now, I do plan on painting a couple things with that little technique that I've shown before, using a little bit of paint and baking soda, and I've had so many questions about that, so I thought I would try and measure it out so that you can kind of understand what I do and how much I use to get the consistency that I like. Plus, I do have a really neat birthday surprise that my husband has gifted me in this last week that I really want to share with you all. So I hope that you enjoy today's video. Let's go ahead, jump right in, and get started. About 15 to 20 years ago, my kitchen decor was all about grapes, and this beautiful picture was one of my favorite pieces. So as you can see, I have kept it all these years and have contemplated painting it for some time now, and today is the day. I love the texture I get from mixing craft paint with baking soda, and after using that technique on a few pieces, I knew I wanted to use it on this as well. Now, to start out, all you need is some craft paint, or today I am using chalk paint that I picked up at Walmart. They are the smaller bottles that cost just under $2. You'll need some paintbrushes, a paper plate is what I'm using as my palette, and then you'll also need some baking soda. It's just that easy. Now, I have had so many questions regarding this technique. This mixture is so easy, and I hope that taking a little bit of time today to measure it out will help to answer some of those questions. As I began this project, I poured out half the bottle of paint onto my paper plate and then added 1 tablespoon of baking soda. After mixing it together, it is ready to go. It's just that easy. And as you can see, it does a great job of covering up this deep burgundy. Now, moving on to redecorating. I knew this little setup wasn't going to last when I put it together back in January, and I think I even mentioned that on my video. It just wasn't pushing the right buttons for me, but I really didn't know what I wanted, and to be honest, that's normally how it goes. So today I'm going to start by just clearing the space, and then I'm going to shop my house a little bit to see what I can come up with. And in the end, you will probably notice that in some cases I've simply moved items from one counter to the other, but I like it so much more. If you have been around my channel for a little while now, you will know I am very impatient when it comes to crafts or DIYs. I want them to be done in 5 minutes or less. So this picture is still a little wet, but we're gonna go ahead and add a second coat to it. Now, when I put together a second batch of this paint concoction, I only used half a tablespoon of baking soda to the remainder of the bottle of paint. Now, these little bottles are 2 ounces, so if you're using a normal craft paint, keep that in mind. I used 1 ounce of paint the first time to 1 tablespoon of baking soda. This time I'm using the second ounce to a half a tablespoon of baking soda. And I think I like the second consistency more. It is a little bit thinner, but you're still getting that great texture and it's much easier to work with. Okay, being I had a little bit of paint left over and I remembered that I picked up this little chicken at Hobby Lobby the last time I was there, I wanted to go ahead and dress her up a little bit with this texture as well. And then I decided to take it a step further. I went and grabbed a bag of my moss and just kind of let some of the little bits and pieces fall out the bottom of the bag, and then began to kind of crush it up between my fingertips just to make it more of a powder type. And then I began to sprinkle all those little bits and pieces right over my wet chicken to add just another level of texture. And I really like the way she came out. I love the little bits of green on there. It just added a pop of color and made her look a little bit more aged. Okay, now back to my picture. Anytime I use this baking soda and paint technique, I try to go back in with a darker color just to add a little bit more dimension to whatever I am working on. And especially with this one, I love the idea of going around all these little bits and pieces like the leaf, the grapes, and just the curly cues, the handle, and then even on the smooth parts of the picture, I'll just kind of go up and down. You'll see I just pat it in there, try to kind of blend it into the existing paint that's on there to make it look a little bit more aged and like it's been there for a long time and I'm not just dabbing paint on here. But I like this technique. I think in the end, especially when it's dry, it looks very, very beautiful. Once the picture was done, I went ahead and set it here, and then I wanted to add a few little olive branches. Now, I find these at Walmart. I like them a lot more than the ones that I have found at Hobby Lobby, and I think it's because of the different color olives. I think it makes it look a little bit more realistic. These little branches are just $3, and I really like them. I thought they paired well with the picture. And this little vessel is one that I found and picked up at Michael's not long ago. You remember me asking for prayer about little things. I brought it home. I actually brought a couple of them home. I couldn't pass them by. And I think this one pairs well with the picture. Okay, now on to the next countertop. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and clear everything off, and then of course use my e-cloths to make sure that everything is spick and span before I continue to decorate. Now over here, I knew I wanted to use one of the urns that I had painted long ago, and I think it works really well here. I love having the height, and then I'm going to just go ahead and pair it with my little chicken. Again, with that moss and the moss in my urn, I think it works really well together. Now I placed this little tree here, but then I did end up moving it. I love it here, but I don't like the idea of it being so close to my stove. And I thought that the last time I had it on the other side of the stove, but I had left it there for a good month. So it's definitely time to get it away from my stove and all the grease that goes with it. I have noticed no matter how clean you try to be when you are cooking or frying, it is going to go everywhere. Having glass tabletops has proven that time and time again. Green being my favorite color and texture being one of my favorite things, I do use moss an awful lot. So I did go ahead and add some moss to this little planter pot, and I wasn't sure what else I was going to add to it, but I went back to olive branches. I did cut this little branch down so that it would fit the pot a little bit better, and I'm going to place this on my little iron shelf that I bought at Hobby Lobby moons and moons ago. It has always been in my kitchen. It is a great little shelf for all of our soaps and of course decor, because you always need a place to put decor. And then in this little teeny pot is another one of my great little finds at Michael's. I think it goes really well together here. I like the shiny texture of the green pot, and then next to that more rough texture of the little gray pot, I thought it worked really well together. And while I was cleaning out my laundry room, I found this cookbook that says Barefoot in Paris. I thought, oh, I've got to use that. So I brought that out from the laundry room and then just paired it with something that I've had around the house. I really, really love being able to shop my house. It makes it so easy when things are cohesive all throughout, because you can grab something from just about anywhere, like the laundry room or the office or the bedroom, and bring it into the kitchen, and it works well there too. I mentioned my birthday was coming up, and with it fast approaching, I have began to think about this new year being gifted to me. I am always so thankful for His goodness and grace and the blessings of another day with my three men. As I began to reflect on this, I couldn't help but think of the legacy I am building. And it reminded me of 1 Corinthians 3 and 10. By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation as a wise builder, and someone else is building on it. But each one should build with care. Now, that's not to say I'm sitting here pondering my end. I'm simply pondering my love for those closest to me, and the fact that I can choose my legacy, having this one opportunity to model what truly matters to my children's lives, and knowing they too will pass these things along to their children one day. I want to try my best to get this right. And even though my boys are older and our oldest Josiah is even living on his own now, I still believe there is time for me to benefit their hearts and lives. I want them to be able to say, I showed them what it looked like to love and need our Savior. I want them to say I lived a life full of grace and that I listened to them with an open heart, giving them my full attention. I want them to be able to say I was their biggest fan and I completely and utterly believed in them. That I loved their dad with all of my heart and respected him as the head of our home. That we had fun and created special moments for them. That our traditions were memorable and filled with love. I also want them to know that I taught them how to be mannerly, respectful, kind, loving, and how to forgive. I want them to say, I knew she prayed for me and that our home was always Christ-centered. And I encourage each and every one of you to remember that you do have a chance to choose your legacy. And no matter how young or how old your children may be, you can still benefit their hearts and their lives. All right, friends, as I bring this video to a close, I thought I would just let you kind of walk through my little birthday surprise. Now, this week, my husband gifted me what I have wanted to do for so long, and that is to paint our doors and our door trim black. I am so excited with the outcome. It has been such a job, and I am so thankful that we did decide to hire someone to do it for us, because it has been so much easier to watch them conquer this than to do it ourselves, and they have done a beautiful job. Now, it's not complete, but it's getting there, and I am just so excited about it all. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember to stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.